All right, so Sensen, this has been a long time coming. I could bore everybody. I don't even want to say, like, I feel like I have to say, like, how long we've known each other, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because we know that, and if other people don't, then whatever.
If we start talking, it's going to just be a lot of inside jokes about that no one's going to care about.
Right. So let's just get into it. Before this started, you said last night at the Improv, you had a pretty drunk crowd. Tell me about it.
But I mean, so it was a late Saturday crowd. So they had, traditionally, I think people understand that can be a drunk crowd, but a late Saturday crowd at the Improv, and they had all day to drink. And let me tell you, the staff there did not overserve them. They were overserved at whatever place they came from. They treated the host like absolute garbage. They didn't care at all what he was saying. And I wasn't paying attention, just getting my own headspace. And then I jumped on stage, and the left side of the room couldn't stop wooing. They couldn't. One group responded to every single word I said, like as if I was talking directly to them. And the big surprise of it all was straight ahead, bachelorette party. The harbinger of shitty comedy. Didn't say a word. They were the good people. We saw them walk in, and I was like, oh, great. So everyone's kind of fucking falling on each other, and there's a bachelorette party. Bachelorette party was so well behaved. It was every other asshole there. There was a guy who responded last night with, so what do you do for a living? I eat pussy. You're like, what's going on? What is going? Unbelievable. It was a guy openly admitting that he's trying to get into the drug game.
Oh my God.
And then we got offered honest to God meth.
Wait, like real meth?
Like Breaking Bad. I've never seen it, or I've never met a meth head. For all the jokes that have ever been made, I didn't know. Last night after the show, a guy in a cut-off Zoo York hoodie.
Well, you got him now. Yeah.
Who looked like he was an extra hanging out with Jesse Pinkman. Was like, yeah, I got a little bit of this worm if you want some. I was like, what are you saying?
Wait, were they all hanging out there?
Well, that guy hung out till late. I don't know where they crawled out of, but it was terrible. It was terrible, and it was all right from a joke perspective for a little bit, but you realize that crowd just wanted to be talked to. And so I was doing fine, but it was certainly, I had to go off script a lot, and they liked when you were talking to them, and they were okay. Moses Storm, who's the headliner, luckily he's super talented, because he almost had to just crowd work a full hour because they weren't paying attention to shit.
The worst is when they come in loaded. It's like, if you're gonna party and get drunk at the show, at least you're here and like you can catch them before it really hits. But when they already come in just full cocked, it's because the worst.
You always like a buzz crowd is a great crowd. Because I told people, I was like, that came to the early show, they're like, how's the second show? And I was like, everyone's fucking wasted. And they're like, oh, that's great. And I was like, no, a buzz crowd is great. 2.5 drinks, the sweet spot. They've had a couple, and you get on, they're feeling good. A bombed crowd is not a good crowd. They're terrible. You're wrong.
People think that like, oh, that crowd's going to be hammered so you can like mess with them. They're going to be loose. It's like, that is the last thing I want, is a crowd that feels that they can do whatever they want.
And they also can't pay attention because they're infants. They're just like,
right, yeah.
Can't support their head, and whatever is going on is exciting again. So yeah, it's impossible.
Good. I feel like a good crowd is like a Labrador Retriever, where like you have to train it to where like they want to please you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where like if you give the puppy the run of the house, it's cute, but it's like it's no fun.
They're gonna eat your shoes. They're gonna soil things that you don't want them to soil. Right. Yeah. You have to convince a crowd that what you're saying is worth it, and convincing any drunk that anything besides their own interest is worth it is impossible.
Oh my God, it's the
Terrible.
worst.
So it was fun. Like, it wasn't too bad, but I mean, that was the drunkest crowd I think that I've ever dealt with.
Yeah, that's a brutal like thing, especially going into it. Like when you know that feeling when you're looking out and you're like, man, we couldn't even get through this night, you know?
Well, and here's the thing about that too, is that the early show was old, and like I
Yeah.
was like, is it papered? And I don't think it was as papered as I thought it was. But I went into the early show being like a goddamn papered crowd, and I'm looking out and going like, these guys are fucking suck. I think I turned to Moses Storm and go, these guys are fucking terrible. And because they just weren't giving up what I believe the host should have been getting. Our buddy Joey Welsh. Joey Welsh was,
Yeah, right.
and he was deserving way more than what he was getting. And so I was looking at that crowd and saying, I'm gonna hate these people. And I was like, Seneca, do not attack them when you go there. Go you know, you get on immediately. They did nothing wrong. And I'm just going, these guys are idiots. I hate them. And so I was judging them like they're gonna be terrible. They were awesome. They were a great crowd. They were so into it. They were, and I was judging them for being old and thinking they were papered. And you know, I was wrong. I was wrong on that one. But the drunk crowd, I was like, there's no way this is gonna be different than the way I think it's gonna go.
Dude, that idea of going on stage already mad at the crowd, man. I've made that mistake so many times. And just like you go up there and like one person coughs and you're like, what is wrong with you? Are you coughing on my show? Like you just lose it.
On my show. That is a personal fun to me.
Yeah, like it's like a dad that snaps, you know what I mean? Like you're like, man,
because he had a bad day at work. Like he
Right.
just got home. You did nothing. You just
Right.
like picked up your fork too quick and he loses it. Yeah.
Right.
You
Oh,
are
man.
one of those that, not trying to get carried away, but like you have always been like, you're a classic. Like you build up a whole narrative in your mind before you even get out there.
I'll get mad at a crowd from 3 crowds ago. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like shows from last month and it'll just be something similar. I'm like, oh, they're gonna pay for it. You know, they're gonna
you have a fucking hair trigger when it comes. I've seen you snap on so many people who like, I'm like, that was relatively innocuous. Like they didn't do anything wrong. And you're like, you know, I can hear you. You know.
Oh, dude. When it's, you know, I wish I had a release for it sometimes, but the problem is that it, because it doesn't happen every show, because I'm not like I think because I don't do a lot of crowd work where it's like, I'm not always letting it out slowly. It does build. So then the one time, like whatever ignites it, it's, you know.
Dude, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think that a little I'm relatively like a positive, optimistic, nice guy, and I get very frustrated if I feel like somebody's taking advantage of me. Do you feel that because your presence on stage, I mean, you're a very sweet guy in general, but like on stage, you are like you're doing some like I'm just you know, going through life. I'm a good guy. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
There's no cursing. There's no swearing. That sometimes like someone thinks they can yell out to you. Is it a little bit? Do you think because you're like you don't take it? You just I'm a nice guy in all this act doesn't mean I won't snap on you. Is there anything like you're taking advantage of me to your?
I think people. I think it's maybe a little bit of that, but mostly what it is it's like I think I am conversational on stage. And that leads people to believe that they can chime in, which is not the case. And every once in a while, I do have to like, yeah, sometimes I snap. You know, I hate it though when my worst experiences are with crowds like before the show, when they're talking to you before the show, or they're like, already you can see they're going to be a problem. Where like where a table is drunk, or they're yelling at somebody, or they're trying to buy a bunch of drinks. It's like right then I know I'm going up in my head that I'm going to have to like eventually fight them. And
could verbally spar with these people who are just who paid to have a good time tonight and they don't know they're about to get into a fight.
Yeah, but also you did pay to have a good time, but it's kind of like we were talking about off camera, like you're an adult. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
understand that society has to function with certain rules. You know, you can get hammered. You can get hammered at the show. I don't care.
But here's the thing about society. Society is not a comedy club, because the comedy club, they demand that you drink a little bit. Like they're like, you gotta at least put 2 in your system. And that's what society. By the way, how funny is it you can see that I don't have a tooth in right now?
It looks, I was gonna ask you that. It looks very cool. It looks
awesome, dude. I look like I'm a hockey player, or like I gotta do a fight, but the truth is, like, neglect, no dental work.
Just had that sucker pulled, huh?
No, well, I have the baby teeth, and I just got them fixed. So I get, like, this week, finally get the implant in.
Wow. So, I like it. I really dig. I thought maybe you were this was gonna lead to like what happened last night.
No, the CPAP indentation on my face and the missing tooth is because I just woke up and it's like noon, because I was drinking until the sun came up with the entire staff at the Improv.
Let's talk about that for a second, because we have gone on some cannonball runs, some real suicide trips.
Oh, for sure.
You know, I don't want to say, I'm not going to say who ran the show, but I will say you and I have a shared experience with another friend of ours, Raymond, of a show we did in Eerie, and maybe hands down, like, top 5 worst shows I've ever been a part of, and just the sense that like what is going on here, you know?
It had all the vibes of like an after school hangout for like it was like the YMCA watches your troubled children until your parents get off work.
Yes.
Situation.
Yeah. Well, we get so excited. We get so excited to do comedy, and we found a room in Eerie that's going to let us come through. We're booking all these dates, and I remember like walking. Yeah, huh?
Because it was the first show on a run of like 4 or 5 shows that we were going to start driving around. So we're like, opening night, dude.
Opening night. Yes, we got the clothes hanging up in the car, the show shirts. We're getting dressed in parking lots. You know, we're doing it. I think we like walked through a venue, like a rock venue, to the actual.
Where I'm like, fill this place up for us, dude. Oh, dude, I was like, that. First off, this space is not set up for comedy, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll fuck this room up.
Yeah.
No. Go to the back. There is a dressing room with every mutant that you could find in Eerie, and we're just gonna pack them in.
Dude, it was the strangest thing. I mean, it really was like a community center. Like, remember there was like a pool table or a foosball table or something?
Yeah.
And then like one kid brought his mom, like, which was strange.
Yeah. And that was the most normal person, like, seeming like, oh, well, at least he's got parents, because these other people like have been abandoned their whole life. They've been living on the streets. I thought it was almost, I know we're making jokes about it, but it's almost more sad than anything.
Yeah, it was sad. Like when oh my God. I mean, when we left, we were just, that was just a strange night, because we ended up leaving that show. We were planning on driving and we stayed in Eerie. We went to like that country bar and like some Roadhouse saloon.
Just drank beers and ate chicken wings. Like, well, if that's any indication of how the next 4 days you're gonna go, this is gonna suck.
That's the thing. Yes, exactly. Where you're like, when the first show of a 4 or 5 show run goes bad, you're like, what happened? Like, we are in trouble.
When you're at a club and you're like, oh, I got 5, and this weekend I'm doing 6 shows. But when I really, I don't know why I do this, and it's stupid, but I'm like, I do exactly that. I'm like, Thursday will be indicative of how the rest of this goes. If they're like a decent Thursday crowd, this is all going to be great. And some rooms are just like, and sometimes like Thursday's not always an excitable crowd. Everyone's got to work tomorrow, but you do hope, or you put a lot on that first show. And if it goes wrong, then you're just like, well, everything's going to suck.
Yeah, I just remember we stayed at a Super 8 that night. And it was such a nice mirror image of what was going on for comedy, where like We get there, the police were there. There was a
Oh
family in
yeah.
front of us, and the family left. They were like, "Our kids are scared. We have to leave." And we went up right behind them, like, we will have one room, please.
Yeah, like we need to get out of this. They were like, we're not staying in this ghetto. They were saying some horribly offensive things. I'm like, yeah, fucking, you got a room? They're not taking the room. There's
Yeah.
opened up one bed. Yeah, we'll fucking cuddle. No big deal. I'll be
Yeah.
the lucky Pierre.
Oh my
it?
God, dude. That was that
Staying in
yeah, that
bad
was
rooms.
brutal. Yeah, bad rooms will ruin a weekend too.
Dude,
You know.
when Ray, you were supposed to be this on another time we're doing it, but Ray, like that whole when we were in Cleveland, and
Yeah.
we went into the one room, and I pulled up the sheets and they were fucking disgusting. And I was like, I felt like a queen because I was like, I called up the front desk and I was like, hey, it appears that there's I don't know how to say this, but it's like there's like some coital stains all over the sheets. And the guy at the front desk goes, oh yeah, sorry. Some of our sheets have stains on them. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he came up and he was like, all right, here's some sheets, change the bed. And I was like, thanks, dude, I'll do it. And that definitely ruined that night for me, for sure.
Yeah, especially like if you have a bad room and the show is really fun, you can get away with it. But if you have a bad room and the show is not fun, it's just now you're just in a bad room feeling bad.
You're like, oh, so this is what I've decided to do. I've decided to not only have people publicly to my face not like me, look at me in the face, you know, you think you're funny, and I'm here to let you know you're not. Afterwards, why don't you sleep in dirt, sleep in other people's fluids, because it's a hard thing to get out of, you know, because you'll do that too. Like I will purposefully, anytime like I'm doing some shows like on the road or I'm in Buffalo or whatever, I'll go at least 1 or 2 nights I will purposefully get like a nice hotel room so I can be like, I feel better. Like this is
Yeah,
all
right. Yeah. At least you have some control, you know, in your life. Yeah. Yeah, because so many other things are going against you that if you are going into a room where you actually have to use a key, that's troublesome. You know, that is really bad. What do you think the worst is that? Do you think those are the worst accommodations you've had for comedy, or have you had worse?
Have I had worse than the stain?
Super 8 and the stain sheets.
That one was pretty gnarly. It was like a converted old folks home or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was legitimately one of those. Like it was like, yeah, this used to be something else. And then someone they slapped like a daisy across the front of it. Like somebody that's gonna pay for it. It felt like it had all the vibes of like you could rent this hourly. That's what,
yeah, right.
Yeah, which is not a good feeling. You know, I think those were probably the worst accommodations. I don't know if I can think of any other ones.
What do you think because you started in Buffalo and you came to Pittsburgh, and like that Rust Belt run is just, I mean, the people, when you describe a place as the Rust Belt, you know the people you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
First off, they're my people. I love them, but
right. What do you think the roughest show? Because I know you've done some shows in some backwood places, but just like the roughest, maybe it's as far as rough as like a rough looking crowd, or just like a venue that you're like, do we have electricity? You know, like
I was doing a run of brewery shows throughout the Rust Belt, like through Ohio and Pennsylvania and New York, and I was bringing like friends along that from Pittsburgh, and I was like, well, this is pretty fun. I'm doing 45 minutes. And I get to bring my buddies around. Like, this is going to be really great. First gig that I did was a brewery in Ohio. I'm not going to name the brewery, not because I wouldn't blow them in, it's because I blocked it out. I can't remember. And I was with two people that but it doesn't matter for any of your audience. And I was looking at it online. Like I put it into Google, and like Google will show like the venue. And I was like, well, this looks country, but that doesn't make sense because it's a brewery. It's Arsenal Brewery or whatever the hell it was.
Right.
And we're driving, like, man, we are on some back roads. Like this is pretty deep in the shit. Maybe there's gonna be a city on the other side of this. And we show, and I was like, oh, we're here? Oh, so we're here and you can't see anything from the road. It's just tree lined and there's a dirt road. I'm like, all right, behind this is going to be a very majestic reveal. It's going to be fun. And we go down this dirt road and there's no reveal. There's a house, just a house, an old farmhouse. And I was like, well, this is a place, but it's just a farmhouse. And I knock on the door because it looks like it's a home. And somebody opens the door and I was like, is this whatever brewery? And they're like, you found it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was a house. Literally, they had a bar in one part of it, and the other side had benches inside like a living room. And I was like, I'm the entertainment. And they're like, all right, brother, where do you want to set up? And I was like, I don't know. Are you watching Law and Order SVU in a minute here? Because I don't think it's gonna work. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Let's just do this outside. And I was like, so you have nothing planned? He's like, nah, we don't have any lights, no nothing. We just figured you'd figure it out. And I was like, I'm just here to tell dick and fart jokes. And so it was a home that they put a bar in, and they put a couple benches inside their home, and they just had a brewery and did it. So
and they made beer there.
And I don't know where they brewed the beer. I don't know if it was in the basement, and it was that. So I mean, that's the gnarliest place ever. And so we did a gig outdoors. By the way, a bunch of people showed up to it, like everybody in the community, and the show was fantastic. But we had to makeshift some stuff. So of course we had like floodlights that you put on the ground, so it looks like you're telling ghost stories.
Right.
A terrible lighting situation outdoors, and people showed up, but they were like, yeah, this is normal. This isn't normal. This is not normal. But everybody did well, so it was kind of a fun show, but it was weird as shit.
Yeah, those are the ones where you're like, thank God this show went well, because had it not, like, I don't see myself making it home.
That's a long drive to the next city, I'll tell you that. That's a long.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the farthest you've gone for the least amount of money is?
Farthest I have gone for the least. I mean, Collin, I think you know this, but I drove when I started comedy like a fucking psycho because I was so goddamn old. I drove every single week from Pittsburgh to Buffalo 4 hours. Every single week. I drove 4 hours to do 2 nights of open mics in Buffalo, New York. And I slept on our friend Collin Chase's couch, who was a Helium assistant manager at the time. And I mean, so that's how far, I regularly drove 4 hours to do an open mic at a bar where no one gave a shit about, and then the club. So I did that for probably 9 months.
Yeah, I remember going up there a couple of times with you, and just coming home. I remember the first time I did it, I got myself a hotel room, and I thought, like, this is cool. Like, I'm here, I'm doing it. And then I was like, wait a second, idiot, you're doing an open mic. You just spent $187 on a hotel room. This is bad. You can't do this. You can't do this every time.
If I may, you did that, and now Helium recording.
Then if that all is what it took to make it work, I guess it's worth it. But
no. If none of this was going on and you didn't have any talent with that, you'd have been fucking crazy to do that.
Dude,
it's a fool's errand. I'm in the hole so deep on comedy.
Oh my God, I know. Isn't that crazy? Where you just like I almost think of comedy as like a bookie that I just owe so much to. Where it's like I just have to keep working for them. Like I can't get out now, or like it's like the mob where you're like, I owe you too much,
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever make the money, and I'm at a stage now where I make money from comedy. I never thought that would work. I make money, but the amount of money that I've fronted to this foolish endeavor that is, constantly makes me feel bad about myself. I got heckled. Collin, did I call you and tell you?
You texted me this, but I did want to talk about it, but I didn't know if it was too fresh. So I didn't know.
I got heckled this Monday Not only did I get heckled the entirety of this open mic, that was because, I had these shows and I wanted to, that you're at an open mic to work on new material, right? I'm not going to do stuff that I know works, but I had these jokes I wanted to do. And I walked into a packed open mic, but it was packed not for open mic comedy, it was packed for chicken wing night. No one gave a shit about nothing. And it was the loudest I've ever been at an open mic. It was just loud. People were loud. And the few people that were listening responded to everything that came out of my mouth, every single word. And I was like, longer bits where I'm trying to unwrap, when you're like working on something, it's this big and then you cut it down to here, right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm trying to be like, you ever do this? You ever? And every word that came out was like, oh, well, you fucked up. You shouldn't have done that. I'm like, I know, that's the point that's what I'm trying to do. And so finally, I do as much time as I can before I go, well, this serves no purpose. There's no reason to be here. I'm like, thank you guys. Very little. Fucking out of here. I'm like, I thank the host. I walk over to the other comics that are like waiting on the side and go, this is pointless. I'll never be back to this mic. Never again will I show up to this thing. You will learn nothing from this. By the way, you guys are just here to hang out with each other. We can do this at a fucking Denny's. This doesn't matter. Let's go talk shit over there, because doing things here, no one's getting better. You're not learning anything. This will just make you want to fucking taste a revolver. Fuck this place. I'm furious. And like, I'm being a real diva about the whole situation. So I go, see you guys later. If I don't kill myself, fuck this place. Fuck those guys. They don't help. I'll never see you at this mic again. And I walk out. And I'm like, I did my time. And I'm going home. I'm done with this. I step outside. The people who were right in the front, like, must have immediately followed me out because they needed a cigarette because I suck so bad, because they're going to fucking hop a cigarette. And I'm walking to my car, and there's three of them. And the first guy goes, hey, you were good. And I was like, that felt like he was making fun of me, but I'm just gonna, don't even turn around. He goes, yeah, nice crowd work, man. And I was like, oh, you fucking cunt. And then, I swear to God, Collin, a real thing that came out, one guy goes, nice crowd work, dude, or whatever. And the next guy goes, nice nutsack work, dude, which makes no sense. But he just wanted to like also join in the club of making fun of the guy who just bombed in front of everybody. And he said, nice nutsack work, dude. And then they all laughed because they thought that was funnier than anything I had just said.
Oh my God.
I in my car, and I'm not lying to you, Collin. I got into my car and I was like, well, there's like a big parking lot there. And I was like, I'm going to go out this way and drive so I don't have to drive by these people again because I'm so fucking embarrassed. And I was like, and I don't want to, I have to turn around. I have to go by them on the main street. I was like, unless I can find a way to get home without passing these guys again. So I drove out the opposite way, so I didn't have to drive. I had the embarrassment of getting heckled by car as well, which has happened before.
Yeah.
And it was dead-ended, and I had to drive right back. And the entire time, I'm like, I hope they don't see me driving in my car because I can't fucking handle this right now. And I called you up to lose my shit. Like, fuck it, I'm done with this. If I didn't have these shows this weekend, I would fucking quit.
Dude, the amount of times that I have heard you or Ray, or you have heard me, or Ray, whatever combination of the three of us, of just being like, I am done. I'm telling you right now, I will not perform again. Like,
I don't need this. I don't need to invite one. I'm already have enough problems in the attic kicking around, enough boxes that have dust on it that I will not open. I don't need to invite more problems into it.
Yeah, man. Dude, I remember right before we had moved, I was just starting to lose my patience and temper so much. And I felt like on the reg, I was either talking to you or calling you, or you were witnessing, just like me being like, I'm telling you, dude, I don't have the patience to do this one more time. I'm going to say something to this guy, just losing it.
I've never met somebody, Collin, and I've never met somebody who literally hates comedy as much as you, who loves comedy at the same time. It's the hardest thing to figure out because, like, if you were to, like, if someone didn't know, like, how comedy works, like, if you talk to somebody else who's not a comedian about comedy, they would be like, why does he do this shit? He clearly doesn't like it at all. And I know how much you love it. and how much you care about it. But you are like just the you're like a dad who's like, fuck, I never wanted kids kind of thing. You love them, but like as soon as they're out of the room and he's talking to his buddies, he's just like, fucking, would have been nice just to listen to Jimmy Buffett down in Key West, fucking, you know? It would have been nice. I mean, I love him. Are you kidding me, man? I coach his T-ball and he fucking sucks, but it's great. I love him, but I don't think it'd be that bad if I was just a parrot head.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's doing comedy. Like it's a weird balance that, you hate it so much.
I hate it when it's bad. It's the thing I hate the most. You know what I mean? When it's good, it's the best. Yeah. And when it's fine, you're like, all right, we're chasing it to be good. But I do feel like that bad shows and interacting with so many people that are bad audience members, and it's like obviously not all shows are bad, because if they were, we wouldn't do this. You know what I mean? Like, I would say we're batting over 70%, 80%. Yeah. It's just, we have interacted, I think, with so many people that are just dumb or just horrible people, that it is like kind of ruined my patience with other people, where like I don't give a lot of, like, I don't have a lot of sympathy anymore. I feel like I don't have a lot of like sensitivity, for sure. I am completely desensitized to like what people need and how they need to be talked to. I'm just like a callous.
Comedy has ruined. It hasn't ruined. This is actually not the exact same thing, but I was just thinking about how much it's ruined interactions with normal people. Yeah. Like, I'm constantly like doing the, like, you're gonna have to cut the fat off this story real quick. I have no patience for like things anymore, unless you're gonna say something snappy and funny or interesting. Like, because of comedy, and interactions with people and watching people talk publicly, I've no patience for any bullshit anymore. I check out real quick. I'm very fast to pick up my phone and be like,
oh, me too, dude. I do the same thing. The same thing. Yeah.
If a real human starts telling a story, I don't know. I keep going, I know, I'm just work email, keep talking. And I'm like just scrolling through puppy Instagram. Right. But that's not what we're talking about. But yeah.
Dude, no, it's I feel the same way. When I hear someone tell a story, when I hear someone start to go into a story, and in the first like minute, it's not interesting, in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, shut it down.
Have you workshopped this before you brought it to me? Like, are you gonna talk to me?
To me, it's like, I don't know, read the room. I feel like I have become so hyper aware of what people think of me and how they're reacting to me, that like, if you're telling a story about work and it isn't interesting and there's no like funny part or dangerous part, and you just see these glazed looks, you're like, how do you not notice that people are done with this?
That's a funny thing about, like, how about what happens when you start doing comedy and then you start realizing that, because everything is in comedy, there's that give and take, like, you get the feedback. And so I'm very sensitive. Like, how about, forget about bombing on stage. Right. What about just when you start bombing socially? Like, you're bombing the work meeting or anything. Now I'm like, I need positive feedback, because I'll bomb in a one-on-one conversation and I will feel it. Like, I'll like, oh, yeah. Am I bombing through a text thread right now? This fucking hurts my feelings. That's the thing that comedy has ruined.
I'm trying to rebound. If I'm bombing during a conversation, I'm grabbing things, I'm pretending they're telephones. I'm like, hello, yeah, what's up? How's it going? Like, I'm doing falls through doors. Yeah, like, I'm doing it all.
Yeah, comedy is ruined, and everything that I do now, for whatever reason, has the metric of what is the response? Is it good? Is it bad? How do I recover from this? How do I keep building the momentum? It's embarrassing. Like, forget comedy, but what the actual stage, but what it has done to my life in general. I gotta be so annoying to be around too. Like, because I don't even laugh at people anymore. I don't laugh at my friends anymore. I'm just like, I see what you did there. I get it. What do you know what kind of serial killer bullshit is? I'm just like, I can't talk to my friends honestly anymore. I'm like, oh, I know why that's funny. And shut up, dude. It
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks.
But we love it. We have to say it. We do. Now it's just, like I said, I think we're so far in where you're just like, I mean, I can't get out. What am I going to do? When you talk about recovery, I am so excited to ask you this question because I kind of know the answer. After a bad show, what is the recovery process for you? What you leave a bad show, where's the next place you're going?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll get smashed if I'm with a gang of people. I'm not to sobriety comic Seneca yet. I'm still like, I'll get fully wasted about this shit. I'll shot in a beer until I don't remember. Man, I mean, on Monday I went right to the corner store and started buying cookies. and you, I mean, it was so bad that, I mean, like from that, I gained a lot of weight during the pandemic. A lot. I'm talking 40 pounds. I packed, and just my stomach and my chin. I put on a lot of weight. I've lost like over 20 pounds at this point from like, you got to exercise again. You got to start eating healthy. I was on a 2-week, like I'm not eating meat. I'm exercising twice a day. Like, get your shit together, Seneca. I bombed there and I was like, I bought packages of cookies, so many fucking cookies, and I didn't wait till I got home. Like, I was like, and I'm gonna need that chocolate milk, which isn't normally a move that I do. I go white milk with it, and I started eating in the car as soon as I got there, wolfing cookies just to feel good. And I ruined like the diet that I've been working on, all the progress I've made. So that's what I mean. One thing I do is I'll eat like shit, like an idiot.
Yeah, and I have been. I do the same thing, and we have been around each other, and we're the best enablers for each other, because it's one person goes, man, I don't feel good, like I'm going to McDonald's, and then the other person's like, well, I also love McDonald's, and I'm not going to let you eat alone.
No, and I will love to eat in this car with you. I'll eat, and we won't go to a scenic overlook to do this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go get McDonald's, and we'll sit in the Walmart parking lot and eat it right here, and that's fine. Yeah. Like, let's put on a song that we like. Let's put on some Alan Jackson. She's gone, like some bad pop country. We'll make some jokes about how this music sucks, but we also kind of like it, and then we'll just eat McDoubles until like we don't feel good. Yeah. I will definitely eat my way out of I'll eat my way out. Dude,
I'll eat my way out of a bad show, and then the next day I'm just like, geez, what happened?
And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put everything that happened last night on the people in front, unless you're in good headspace, then but there's a good chance you're gonna put that on them, everything that happened.
Yeah, man, dude. Oh my God. The amount of, like, that's the other thing when we go away together, especially when we go with Ray, the amount that I have to prepare my body for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like training for the Olympics, where you're like, because I know for 4 days, 3 days, whatever it is, the concentrated abuse that my body is about to take it's a month's worth.
We were one time, and this is, I mean, it's not this is kind of brings a couple of the things we said together. You were, I want to say you were in Harrisburg featuring for what's his name? Josh Blue. So you didn't you had to miss like a show that was in Columbus. Yes. And we were this actually encapsulates a few things. So it was just Ray and I, and we went to Columbus, and it was apparently the venue was like half stage, half tattoo place, which what we were told, like, this is a pretty good venue. They packed this bitch out, and it's a good little room for comedy specifically. They're the right crowd for it. Like, and so we're going there, and like you're not there. It was just Raymond and I, and we're like driving there, and they go, oh, hey, by the way, that place, the guy who is the booker there, yeah, he just got fired. it's off. They like any idea he had is done. We don't have a show for you, but we can probably set something up. And we were like, and that was like the first show or second show, and we were like, really needing some momentum, and we were like, this is gonna be pretty great. They have that comedy festival had a venue there. We're talking to other people like, oh, you're gonna love this room. It's great. So they're like, all right, we'll put up something together for you. And I'm like, well, we need something. And it's like, all right, we'll do an outdoor show. And this is pre-pandemic when like, if you're like, someone tells me outdoor show during the day, I'm like, eat shit, dude. I'm not, no. It's but we're like anything for some validation from strangers. Right. So we do a show outside, and it's Ray and I are both doing like 25 minutes outside or whatever, 20 minutes. And and I actually did fine. It was fine, except for the time when I got heckled by car. When a car just zooms by, because we're in someone's yard and it's like the road's there. There's like people got lawn chairs out, and some dickheads cruise by and they just go, this is their heckle. They just go, ha, 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 you're not funny. And that was it. And I responded like, dude, you're not even over here to hear my jokes. How would you know? That's how I responded. And then got angry. And I was like, I'll fucking kill these kids. And I realized there's people in front of me. But like, I immediately go to Angry Town. Yeah. Like, I'll fucking fight these guys. So anyways, I get heckled. We didn't get to do the show that we thought we were going to do. It was all fine in the end. But because I was mad, suddenly I was like, hey, Ray, I don't know if this is okay with you, but like, I need to get a nice hotel room tonight. I can't sleep terribly. And so I was like, you don't mind if I just spring for like the nicest hotel I can find? And he was like, that's cool, man. And it was 100% because the experience was starting to suck a little bit. Right. We had outdoor shows, heckle doing, and I was like, I'm going to make sure I feel better tonight by sleeping in a clean, nice room. And that's what I did. So that's another thing that I do is I'm like, I'll reward myself by being like, you're gonna sleep somewhere nice tonight. It's not good. Don't worry about it.
That's probably one of the healthier things you can do is to go, I need to actually take care of myself, not abuse myself anymore. Not sit in a car and eat like just free base French fries. You know what I mean? Sen, we could talk for hours about this. This was a blast. Do you have shows tonight?
We're doing a Sunday show.
Oh, right. Well, good luck with that.
And Father's Day.
Yeah, little Father's Day fun.
Show with the Improv, the last one.
Yeah. So. Tell people where they can find you and where they can see your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look on Instagram, I believe it's Senneca Stone, and Twitter is maybe Senneca_Stone.
It is, yes.
Let me tell you, I don't do a lot on there because it takes away from me a little bit, but I'll always post shows and everything on there. Wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing. So find me on that.
All right. Well, thanks for doing this, buddy.
Hey, thank you for having me. I miss you.
I miss you.
I can't wait to see you next weekend.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be real good.